All right, team, welcome back to After Hours. I am Gavin Lowther, and this is, of course, Matthew Breenan, and we are going to be talking about crypto, of course, today. We have a lot of good topics for you guys today. I'm extremely excited. We have to discuss a hot topic that happened over this weekend that I just realized, and we have to address that Matty here has converted to a Bitcoin MAXI, and we're going to get into that all in a second here. We're also going to be talking about XRPL AMMs that went live this last weekend. Been waiting a while for that, and we're also going to be talking a little bit about Bitcoin. But before we get into the content here, Matty, how are you feeling about the markets right now?
I'm first of all love the way the markets are looking right now. We got a nice little bounce in the altcoin market. A lot of the behavior that we saw over the last couple of weeks, a lot of the volatility that's set in here, what we're seeing on a lot of major assets is successful backtests and continuation off of those breakout structures. So for me, from a structural perspective, I think the market looks really good right now. I'm not a person who's just always zeroed on price. Price can mean a variety of different things. Where we are positioned in price, how long we've been maintaining above a price. Those are the things that can make me more or less bullish. So right now, based on the way the market's behaving off some key levels, I'm very bullish and I like the way it looks.
Absolutely, Matt. I'm extremely excited for the months to come because it seems like it is heating up right now, and that is very helpful for my investments. My whole portfolio is in the green right now. How's your portfolio doing?
Hey, it's doing great. I still obviously have some of my assets that are kind of closer to the starting line, slightly above the starting line, but I also have some assets that I've done some really aggressive DCA with and lowering of my averages when we got these final dips, especially when we look at things like Zcash and even adding to some of my HBAR and some other assets. Those are looking really nice right now. So I think we have miles to go in relations to our final targets, but I think we're also gearing up for some rotational opportunities here. I recently added a few swing trade picks in my portfolio in the last couple of weeks as well. So I'm locked in, guys. This is the moment we've been waiting for. This is, you go to flight school for 2.5 years, you do all your work, and then, it's time to get on and get going. So that's what we're doing now is we're doing all the fun stuff, and I'm excited to do more of it.
Team, if you want to hop into some of those swing trades, they are accessible at CryptoCharged and within our community. Matty's been breaking those trades down because he was DCing in the bear market, just like the rest of the CryptoCharged team here. But he was looking at some trading opportunities, and you guys, I think it's just 2 right now that you're doing right now, Matt, and you can get access to that team on the website. So become a CryptoCharged member, team. We come from an education platform where we got shows, we got the tools, we got the Discord I talk about all the time. So make sure you check us out there. And also, too, relating to these shows here, last After Hours show, YouTube didn't send a notification to our subscribers. And I got messages in Discord. There was comments under the videos like, hey, I didn't know it was premiering right now. So make sure, team, you click the notification bell so you get notified when our shows are premiering. Meaning Matty and I here, I keep saying me and Matty, and he switched that up. Jeez, makes me seem like I'm illiterate. Matty and I here have switched up our schedule here to make sure that we are posting the shows at the same exact time every single week. So when we started the After Hours show, we were shooting for that 7 p.m. time, but we get very busy. And so that time would be pushed back to sometimes 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. And I know you guys don't want to stay up for that. And you guys on the East Coast, it's the morning for you guys. So we've switched up our schedule here. So 7 p.m. Pacific time every single Monday. And for, of course, the Ask Matty show every Wednesdays, 2:30 p.m. Pacific. So you can catch us there for those premieres. So team, I don't want you to miss the premieres here. So make sure you click that notification bell. But we are about to get into the content here, and I wanted to start today because it came to my attention this week. We have a video on our YouTube. It's a YouTube short, and it's at 120,000 views. And it's Matty, of course, talking about XRP. And so I want Matty to address his, because he sounds like a Bitcoin maxi here, a little bit, Matt. So I just want you to label what you are and kind of give some commentary to this because, of course, I want to stitch it and throw it on TikTok and other socials. But I also want you to provide some clarity to what you meant by this. This video was from February of 2023. And you can see here is it's at the top of our popular short. So, Matty, add some clarity to this. We're going to watch it right now. Let's do it.
No bank in the world is going to pay you money to stake XRP with them. And this is one of those lies that I see perpetuated on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and a variety of other social media platforms. There is no get rich quick, buy and hold forever scheme that's going to continue to make you more money than being tactical with your entries and exits, buying and selling XRP over the next 10 years.
All right, Matty, what is your commentary to this? Because you sound like a Bitcoin maxi here.
Yeah. So, I mean, first of all, what am I, right? I think that was the big question. First of all, I'm a technology and DLT enthusiast. I am. I sincerely love the space and the technology as a whole. I've been a big nerdy boy my entire life. I've always loved tech. My dad was in IT my entire life. So, I've always had access to, technology as a young person. So, I'm very passionate about that. I'm an investor through and through. And that means looking at a lot of opportunities, not just XRP, not just, some of the bigger market caps out there, kind of taking a look at all the different verticals, all the different technical opportunities and jumping on those. This particular video addresses a group of people within the XRP community, and it's not, as I wouldn't say it's explicitly for the XRP community, but it's a big topic within the community because it's one of the older coins that's been around for a while that has larger utility. And part of my strategy is keeping a portion of my bag each cycle as, a long-term bag and building that up, building a bigger position over time. But that's, again, done through the compounding gains of selling off each cycle and then rebuying in. And sometimes that's going to be more XRP, maybe it'll be a little bit more into another coin. Doesn't really matter. Again, I'm here for the opportunity, not to be a maximalist of any kind. There's a big group of people kind of like on the outer bounds of like the cult area within the XRP community that believe that BlackRock's and all these large entities are going to be paying you 20, 22, 25% interest on your XRP because they need it so freaking bad. And I just don't see it happening in that capacity. I've talked about a much more realistic route, which we already have had examples of previously, just not on like an institutional level of where like when your stock portfolio, you can take a loan out against it, but that's you paying interest to borrow against it, not the other way around of them, holding on to your XRP and paying you these egregious numbers of interest on your coins. I think there's a very big group of people who are of that belief that really hold a very small portion of XRP too. And in order for them to see this as a viable opportunity for them, they need to in their head have made, a 10,000% gain or a 20,000% gain. And that's the only way this makes sense for them because XRP is the way and the light of the world. And I don't believe that. There's a reason that we have, even right now, multiple providers for payments, right? What does Wells Fargo do for you that's so special that Chase and all these other banks, can't do for you? Yeah, maybe they got some special little programs, but they're all operating on the same platforms, right? They're all still using the same, messaging standards. But we still have competition within the space. So to assume that any asset is going to carry all GDP and all these banks need it, whether it be Bitcoin, XRP, or otherwise, is really just very stupid and closed-minded and hey, I bought the thing that's going to go up forever. You didn't. There's going to be more competition that comes down the road. And again, this is why I always talk about freeing up some capital each cycle to look for new opportunities. There will be a time when XRP is not the absolute best technology when it comes to processing payments. That's normal. And if you guys think that that's not going to change in 20 years, you have completely stuck yourself in this limbo of, oh, hey, I've bought the asset now. It's only going to be better from today forward. There will be new opportunities. There will be new tech that comes forward. And I'm going to be excited to invest in that tech as well as hedging against myself holding some XRP in the event that I'm wrong.
Wow, that sounds like a level-headed investor, if I do say so myself, Matt. And it was funny in the video, you had like a Bitcoin logo sitting on your shelf. And so when you talk negatively about XRP and you have a Bitcoin logo on your shelf in the background, it's automatically assumed that you're a Bitcoin maxi. And I think that's hilarious because if you know anything about Matty, he is far from it. I don't think he's ever bought any Bitcoin. So that's pretty funny here. So I just wanted to kick off with that because we are going to be talking about XRP at the end of the show. But first, let's get into a news topic. And, this is on the, today you saw Bitcoin pump higher here. So Bitcoin pumps above 70K as crypto rally resumes. Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum begin the week on a strong note, with Bitcoin surging past 70,000. Reaching levels not seen in 10 days and gaining over 7% in the past 24 hours. Other major cryptos like Ether, Solana, and Avalanche are also experiencing these gains. Matty, the question is, we saw a 17% correction in Bitcoin. Was that enough for Bitcoin now to continue higher?
It's better than what we've seen correction-wise over these last impulses. And I know that I'm in this camp of people that people despise because they think that I'm being a macro doomer or whatever. Asking for just a slightly bigger and healthier correction. Again, not even to buy more Bitcoin myself, just to show that there's a rebalance in market structure. We've seen so many examples of these coins that they, go past these crazy prices and then eventually in the bear market, they go right back to that area that everyone promised we would never see again because there is a rebalancing that's needed. Now, when we look at kind of some of the smaller inverse fibs, we did see that there was a nice 382 fib retest on the inverse fib there. We went ahead and tested pretty closely to that 50-day moving average. So we're definitely kind of trying to tighten up closer to some of these more shallow retracements as of late. Is Bitcoin completely done correcting and we're just on our way to 100K now? I don't think that we will get to 100K without corrections. I think that we still need to see more corrections on the way up. Just because we've seen large impulses now doesn't mean that the speed of those impulses can't slow as well over time, and that doesn't mean that the market's not climbing still, and we're not still in an uptrend. In fact, what you'll hear most analysts say, especially old heads out there, is the slow trend is the true trend. So when you have a more consistent series of higher highs and higher lows that isn't necessarily based on like aggressive volatility of aggressive crashes and aggressive impulses, that's generally a more consistent trend that you can depend on versus the ones that are incredibly volatile. So I'm here for the God candles, right? Print them all day long. I'm ready for these alts to absolutely send it. And if that's what's going to occur next, I'm here for it. I'm prepared for it. I'm not squandering around trying to figure out what positions to be in. I've bolstered those in already. But I do think that Bitcoin still is quite hot. I think that when we do get into that 6-figure range, we'll probably get a very large knockback from there. If you guys remember last cycle, we had kind of like a mid-cycle pause where things got very bearish, things got very slow for a while, and then we picked back up. Not saying we have to have a 1-for-1, but again, don't think that current sentiment is indicative of what's happening over the next 18 months. You could absolutely have had the same group of people showing what was happening in 2021, tell them it hits today in 2024, and they would say, yeah, let's buy in. It's bullish, right? Like there's only up from here. The DCA method is not the best way to go about things right now, especially when we're in huge bullish impulses. You are going to be raising your averages right now. You guys have to be tactical. Don't FOMO into this market, because I have seen it so many times where people get overly zealous. They get involved too heavily, and they wish they had saved a little bit of dry powder on the side. I'm not saying don't get involved at all, but make sure you're at least setting aside some of your dry powder. So if we do get one of those larger corrections, like we have seen many times in the past with Bitcoin and the altcoin market, that you have something to be prepared for with that.
I like that, Matty. Yeah, I know you practice what you preach here, and I was just sitting in bed last night, and I'm looking at it any way I can just like take pennies out of my savings account, out of my checking account, and throw it, bring it onto Coinbase. I did that last night, and we saw a big pump this morning, and so that's fine. I have it sitting in USDC, and I will wait for a correction because my cost basis on all my assets are very low. And so I'll just wait for some of these corrective moves to throw down some of these limit orders. And it's actually not as hard as you think, team, because I know many of you may think it's like, oh, you have to time the market. It's like, it's really not timing the market, because if you are a CryptoCharged member, Matty breaks down the charts every single day, and you will have opportunities to throw down limit-based orders. And it's very helpful if you just DCA the bear market, because you have a low cost basis anyways. But on some of these assets where you don't have a position at all, it's probably smart to, at this point, throw down some limit-based orders, unless you have some assets like Matty that are still lagging behind. I actually have assets that are still lagging behind that you can still DC at these price points. I'm talking about like Casper. And actually, that's the only altcoin that's popping in my mind right now, because a lot of the other altcoins are like way above my cost basis. So, team, if you need help with that, CryptoCharged.com. But I want to get into our last news topic of today. And if you are a part of the CryptoCharged community, you likely hold XRP because, well, we all do, actually. We just all do. That's just something we all do, because we have been, in some sense, sold on the idea of XRP. But for the last 2 years, we have had this promise of automated market makers, and we saw that live on Friday. But we then saw some issues with, the liquidity pools and low liquidity. And so, Matty, before we get into the problems that arose, obviously AMMs went live on Friday. Can you, in your own words, break down what automated market makers are?
Sure. First, I'll point you guys to a resource. I'll have Gavin link it below so you guys can watch it if you want to learn a little bit more about it. David Schwartz, a couple years ago at the XRP Summit, did a great breakdown on the XRP AMMs, kind of just the value of DEXs and providing liquidity and being able to settle lots of assets, real world assets, securities. anything essentially using the XRPL AMMs. Automated market makers, just kind of in a very simple term, is basically liquidity. So when you guys are on a SEX, a centralized exchange, there are AMMs or automated market makers that will provide both bid and ask prices on both sides of the market. So they will both buy your XRP and they will both sell your XRP. And they have little parameters that they can set for, what kind of, how much they want to provide on each side and the deposit in there, and then that allows you guys to get in there and trade. So you guys are not trading directly against Coinbase. You guys are trading against market makers, not Coinbase directly. Okay, so like Coinbase there's not somebody there on the other side is like, yeah, I'll go ahead and buy your, $500 worth of Bitcoin. There's market makers providing that liquidity there. Now, when we look at the decentralized markets, right? You guys are familiar with things like SushiSwap, Uniswap, variety of other, Soulflare, everybody has kind of their own version of a DEX. And this is the ability to take other tokens and NFTs and a variety of assets. Again, we can go as deep as layering in real world assets to be able to be settled on these DEXs using these AMMs. What you're able to do is actually what we've never been able to do within traditional finance as a retail participant, provide liquidity to a decentralized exchange doing bids and acts. Now, what's happened in this recent release, and again, we're literally just 2 days into this release, right? Like, let's give it a little grace here. You guys are still Solana bulls, even though Solana's crashed like a good 25 times in 2 years. And like, I'm not saying Solana can't improve, a lot here and continue to see good quality NFTs being minted for cheap and, payments being, more efficient than ETH. I think Solana from like a scaling perspective is vastly better than ETH, but I digress here. Let's give them a tiny bit of grace, right? Like it's better that things broke in day 1 and 2 versus breaking, 6 months in and then being like, oh, okay, what's going on here? One thing that we need to think about here is when you guys are connecting to a DEX, and it doesn't matter, or any sort of third-party application. You guys have your MetaMask wallet. You guys, in this example, would have been using maybe your Ledger, or maybe you would have been using a Decent wallet, or there's a variety of other decentralized wallets. When you connect to a third-party site, whether it be a staking pool or otherwise, you need to be very careful to read the entire statement before you just click confirm. Yes. Put my coins in right now. Please read what's happening, because you have to see what kind of slippage is occurring there. So what they were talking about, single-sided deposits potentially, being lost and people jumping in and being able to capitalize on these single-sided deposits and getting way more XRP than they should have been able to get for the amount of money that was in that liquidity pool. What David Schwartz was pointing to, and again, we'll link this article as well, is that in the grand scheme, it was just a very small group of people that were able to execute on this because there was only a handful of pools out there that were just misaligned just perfectly. There wasn't this large exploit. In fact, most traders would not have even tried to jump in on the other side of the trade because they also would have been at a disadvantage, because that's not how market making works. So yes, a bug. Yes, it sucks. Yes, it sucks that it's the first 2 days of it being launched. But this is still a very new technology. I promise you guys that DeFi as a whole is probably going to be one of the most heavily regulated and improved sectors over the next 10 years, because you have this incredible financial market that hosts all kinds of real world assets. It's very liquid, very slow. And we're going to be transitioning this not only to a decentralized platform, but also allowing average retail investors to participate both on the liquidity side of things as well as the settlement side of things. And that's a huge leap. Okay. So understand, like, this is going to take time. Like, think about how long it took for phones to get as good as they are today and affordable as they are today, right? There's like a huge bridge, first of all, in the technology gap and then the price gap. And then once that finally closes on both ends, that's when you get mass adoption. So yeah, I'm sorry that this was a little bit of a disappointment, but I'm not that surprised that we're having a small issue with retail participating in AMMs this early in the DLT process.
Well, thank you for that, Matty. I think you broke down everything, and we're just not even going to get to my follow-up questions because you answered everything. But this is XPMarket here, and you can connect your ZUM, or we would preferably ask you to use your Ledger, and you can trade on the DEX and swap your tokens, or look at NFTs. But the AMMs, you can see the AMMs were new, and now we have access here, and you can participate by providing liquidity and connecting your ledger. And actually, you can even trade or provide liquidity for other XRPL tokens like Solo, like Flare. So you're not limited to just XRP here. And Matty, so we've been around crypto for a while here. So when talking about liquidity pools, are there any risk here?
Yeah, anytime you participate in market making of any kind, you're still basically playing an enormous arbitrage game. Now, the risk is probably incredibly low compared to some of the other pools that you can participate in that have, ridiculous APY that's just, egregiously attractive to the degens out there that have been in DeFi, over the last several years here. But when you look at market making and the true LP pools that are providing liquidity for larger markets, the reward is not enormous. It's actually probably small enough that it'll ward off most investors, and you're just going to get people who are parking their risk off money in there to provide some liquidity and make a little bit of money, right? So we're talking about probably the best opportunity for you guys is, first of all, let this work itself out, let more pools come online, see what pools are providing, the best service, the best interface, the easiest ability for you guys to see what's happening on both sides of the transaction, understanding the potential losses that you could incur from market making. And again, I think this is going to be something over time that gets regulated so people are fully aware of what they're doing here. But it's not like this incredibly high reward activity. I'll probably be parking some money in a bear market and some AMMs to be able to just, first of all, provide liquidity in something I believe in, right? That's putting your money where your mouth is and saying like, yeah, I actually believe in the XRP Ledger and I want to help participate. Yeah, I want to be compensated for market making, but it's not going to be something where I'm just making so much money that it's like, okay, I'm never trading again, right? Like it's just going to be a nice way to have some passive money that's going to die if it doesn't continue moving, to be parked in a vehicle that's genuinely helping provide liquidity to a very large market. And I think a market that's only going to get bigger over time.
I like that, Matty. Team. We covered a lot today in a short amount of time, and we will be covering more on the live shows throughout the week, and of course the Ask Matty show 2:30 p.m. Pacific. But I like how we addressed that Matty is not a Bitcoin maxi. I feel like we needed to get to that at some point, because our top video is Matty. Seemingly if you get in your feelings on the videos and don't get to the facts, you will take that as a Bitcoin maxi and you'll get emotional and you'll send a nasty comment, as there are on that video. So I'm glad we addressed that. I'm glad we talked about a little bit about XRP, a little bit about Bitcoin and where we see the market going. Team, if you are lost, if you are new and you have no idea what you're doing, I got a place for you. It's called CryptoCharged. Go check us out there. Matty, we have a couple minutes left here. Anything to leave the team with?
Yeah, like Gavin said, CryptoCharged.com is where we're at. These little shows we do here, we try to compress as much value and information as we can for you guys, but really there's no way to give you guys the coverage we give at CryptoCharged.com. It's 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. It's not just me. I have a couple other partners as well that come on and provide some insights for the macro, providing some insights with stocks for some of you guys that are degens, some meme picks out there, even though it's personally not something I get invested in, but I know some of you guys still crave it. So we're still going to give you guys what you're looking for there. And of course, that Discord community is really, really key for you guys, not just watching the content and having to go do it on your own, bringing your questions in, getting clarification, asking where resources are, us being able to provide those resources for you guys, and making sure you guys have that well-rounded experience. And again, you get a 30-day free trial with any plan you pick. Make sure you use code YouTube at checkout for 50% off any membership. And again, even if you pick the annual one, still get that 30-day free trial. So might as well jump on that and take advantage of it.
Team, if you got value from this show, make sure you like it and let us know down in the comment section what you got from it. But until Wednesday, we'll see you then. Bye.